lovely decor enthusiasts. Welcome to my channel, where vintage charm meets modern farmhouse elegance. Today, I'm thrilled to take you on an exclusive summer tour of my beloved Victorian home, brimming with timeless treasures and cozy farmhouse touches. If you adore antique finds, floral accents, and spaces that tell a story, you're in for a treat. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like. Your support helps me create more magical content. Now, let's step inside. As you approach my home, the wraparound porch sets the tone with its intricate gingerbread trim and rocking chairs draped in floral cushions. This summer, I've adorned the space with hanging ferns and vintage lanterns for a dreamy, welcoming vibe. The peeling white paint on the railings? Pure character. Every detail here whispers stories of the past while inviting you to sit and sip sweet tea. Isn't this the perfect spot for slow, sunny afternoons? through the original oak door into an entryway that blends Victorian grandeur with farmhouse warmth. A distressed console table holds a collection of antique keys, porcelain vases, and a weathered leather guest book. Above it, an ornate gold mirror reflects sunlight from the stained glass transom. The herringbone-wood floor grounds the space, while a chunky knit basket holds cozy throws, because even in summer, comfort is key. What do you think of this mix of elegance and rustic charm? The heart of my home, the parlor, is a treasure trove of velvet settees, Persian rugs, and a marble fireplace topped with vintage oil portraits. This summer, I've lightened the palette with linen slipcovers and fresh peonies in milk glass vases. The crowning jewel? A 19th century chandelier dripping with crystal prisms. Every piece here has a history. Can you feel the stories lingering in the air? Imagine candlelit dinners beneath a cascading chandelier in this formal yet inviting dining space. The mahogany table, draped in a lace runner, is surrounded by mismatched Louis XVI chairs painted in soft sage. China cabinets display heirloom teacups and silver serving trays collected from European flea markets. This summer, I've added woven placemats and wildflower centerpieces for a touch of rustic romance. Would you host a dinner party here? Even in a Victorian home, the kitchen is the soul of farmhouse living. White shaker cabinets contrast with open shelving holding ironstone pitchers and enamelware. The apron sink sits beneath a window where herbs grow in terracotta pots. A reclaimed wood island anchors the space, topped with a vintage dough bowl filled with lemons. The scent of fresh bread and lavender? Always. How do you blend old world charm with modern convenience in your kitchen? Tucked behind pocket doors, this petite butler's pantry is a vintage lover's dream. Glass front cabinets reveal stacks of floral transferware, while open shelves hold apothecary jars filled with pasta and spices. The original built-in flower bin still functions. I've added a petite bistro table for morning coffee, because even utility spaces deserve beauty. Do you have a secret organizational haven in your home? Bathed in sunlight, this breezy sunroom is my summer sanctuary. Wicker chairs with striped cushions face French doors opening to the garden. A wrought iron plant stand overflows with ferns, and a vintage pedestal table holds stacks of design books. The best part? The original stained glass windows cast rainbow prisms across the room at golden hour. Pure magic. Would you curl up here with a novel? emerald walls and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves give this library a moody, scholarly vibe. A leather Chesterfield sofa invites long reading sessions, while a brass telescope hints at adventures beyond these walls. This summer, I've draped a quilt over the latter and added a crystal decanter for evening sherry. The scent of old books and beeswax candles? Irresistible. What's your favorite way to style a reading corner? My bedroom is a love letter to vintage romance, a carved four-poster bed dressed in Belgian linen, flanked by mismatched nightstands holding Tiffany lamps. The fireplace mantel displays framed love letters and dried hydrangeas. This season, I've swapped heavy drapes for sheer voile curtains that flutter in the breeze. It's a serene retreat where history and comfort intertwine. Could you imagine waking up here every morning? Every guest deserves a room that feels like a storybook escape, and mine is draped in soft lavender walls and a canopy bed with sheer white curtains. A vintage vanity holds a collection of perfume bottles and a hand-embroidered handkerchief from the 1920s. The real showstopper? A clawfoot tub-turned nightstand, brimming with fresh towels and lavender sachets. This summer, I've added a woven picnic basket filled with local treats, because hospitality should be as charming as the decor. Would you feel pampered staying here? Step into a bathroom where time stands still. Black and white hex tiles meet a freestanding copper tub under a crystal chandelier. Open shelving displays apothecary bottles, antique shaving kits, and stacks of linen towels tied with twine. The pedestal sink, original to the house, now holds a porcelain pitcher filled with garden roses. This season, I've draped a vintage kimono on the door for an extra touch of romance. Could you imagine soaking here with a glass of champagne? Behind a curtain of embroidered silk lies my dressing room, a dreamy space where every accessory tells a tale. A gilded full-length mirror reflects rows of lace-trimmed dresses, while a vintage hatbox tower stores my collection of cloches and berets. The vanity, draped in a crocheted tablecloth, holds Bakelite brushes and a silver hand mirror. This summer, I've added a fresh peony in a bud vase, because even getting dressed should feel like a ceremony. How would you style your dream closet? Victorian home is complete without a dramatic staircase, and mine sweeps upward with a mahogany banister and a runner in faded burgundy. The walls are lined with framed botanicals and silhouettes of ancestors, or at least, that's the story I tell. At the landing, a stained glass window casts jewel-toned light onto a velvet settee, perfect for pausing with a cup of tea. This season, I've woven eucalyptus garlands along the railings for a fresh, fragrant touch. Do you have a favorite architectural detail in your home? Tucked under the eaves, this little alcove is my secret hideaway, a window seat piled with needlepoint pillows and a quilt made from vintage feed sacks. A tiny writing desk holds my collection of fountain pens and sepia-toned postcards. This summer, I've added a terrarium filled with fairy lights, because even the smallest spaces deserve enchantment. It's the perfect spot to watch rainstorms or pen love letters. Where's your favorite place to escape in your home? Just off the kitchen, this screened porch is my summer living room, wicker sofas draped in faded floral cushions, a ceiling fan lazily stirring the air, and a long farm table for alfresco dinners. Mason jars filled with fireflies, the battery-operated kind, line the shelves, and an old icebox now stores blankets for chilly evenings. The scent of jasmine climbs the trellis outside, mingling with the sound of wind chimes. Could you picture yourself sipping lemonade here at sunset? Beyond the porch lies my secret garden, a tangle of roses, hydrangeas, and herbs bordered by a white picket fence. A weathered bench sits under a crabapple tree, its trunk wrapped in twinkling Edison bulbs. The centerpiece? A vintage birdbath repurposed as a planter, overflowing with petunias. This summer, I've added a wrought iron bistro set for morning coffee amid the blooms. Nature's beauty needs no embellishment, but a little vintage charm never hurts. What's your favorite way to enjoy your outdoor space? Even my gardening tools live in style. This tiny shed, with its chippy blue door, houses terracotta pots, a rusty watering can collection, and a wall of clippers hung on pegboard. An old-school desk serves as a potting bench, its surface stained with years of dirt and creativity. This season, I've draped a faded French grain sack over the chair, because why shouldn't utility be beautiful? Do you have a favorite spot to nurture your plants? Every old home needs a mysterious attic, and mine is a time capsule of steamer trunks, hat molds, and yellowed lace. I've styled a corner as a cozy reading nook with a velvet chaise and a hurricane lamp, perfect for rainy afternoons spent sifting through old photos. This summer, I uncovered a box of 1920s beaded flapper dresses, my next decorating inspiration. What's the most fascinating thing you've found hidden in your home? Don't overlook the basement. Mine is a mix of rustic shelving, built from reclaimed barn wood, and vintage laundry essentials. An old wringer washer now holds firewood, and galvanized tubs store seasonal decor. I've even hung a chandelier down here because, why not? A faded Persian rug warms the concrete floor, proving every inch of a home can tell a story. How do you balance practicality and charm in utilitarian spaces? My workspace is anything but ordinary, a roll-top desk scattered with sealing wax and quills, walls lined with antique maps, and a tufted leather chair that squeaks just the right amount. A library ladder leads to upper shelves of design books and a globe that opens to reveal a hidden bar for those extra challenging workdays. This summer, I've propped the windows open to let in the sound of chirping sparrows. Could you focus better in a space this inspiring? A baby grand piano, its lid etched with decades of fingerprints, anchors this room. Sheet music from the 1800s frames the walls, and a Victrola in the corner still plays scratchy jazz records. This season, I've draped a vintage shawl over the bench and kept a crystal dish of candied violets nearby, because music tastes sweeter with a touch of nostalgia. Do you have a space in your home dedicated to artistry? Summer in a Victorian farmhouse means swapping heavy velvets for gauzy linens, filling vases with garden clippings, and setting out trays of iced tea glasses. This year, I've hung a vintage clothesline across the porch with embroidered tea towels and added a basket of flip-flops for impromptu barefoot strolls. Even my mantels wear seashell garlands and faded postcards from coastal towns. How do you transition your home for the season? More than just decor, every piece here whispers of love letters, Sunday suppers, and generations of laughter. That crack in the soup tureen? A childhood mishap. The ink stain on the desk? A novelist's legacy. Living with vintage isn't about perfection, it's about surrounding yourself with soul. This home isn't just mine, it's a collage of lives well lived. What treasures in your home hold the deepest memories? Thank you, dear friends, for wandering these halls with me. If this tour sparked joy, imagine what we could explore together next. Hit subscribe so you never miss a glimpse into vintage-inspired living. Let me know in the comments, which room stole your heart? Would you add more modern touches or keep the nostalgia? Until next time, may your home be filled with as much warmth and wonder as this old Victorian. Happy decorating! Cherry blossom sparkles.